Hey everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of the Covrprice Top 10 1 year later. Alright guys, so before we get into this video, which I am super excited about, please, if you could hit that subscription button, feel free to hit that notification bell so you know when I'm dropping content. And of course, I believe you're going to enjoy this video. If you do, hit the thumbs up. None of these things cost you a dime, and it just helps the channel. So what we're doing in this video, the whole premise of this, and we'll be doing these every other Wednesday from here on out, is we're going to take the Covrprice.com top 10 list from a year ago and go over that list and talk about where those books are now, where they were then, why are they trending in the direction they are, what's going on, and hopefully you guys, if you've been in this hobby over a year and you remember these lists, you're going to say, oh yeah, I remember that. I remember why this was hot then, or oh, I understand why this book now is trending that much. We're going to go over all of that, and I cannot wait. So a big shout out to the Covrprice for hooking me up with the content, because it's super, super important to watch the market and see what direction things are going. So quickly about Covrprice. If you're buying and selling comics and you need to try out Covrprice.com, Covrprice is a collection of management system and comic book price guides. So it puts everything into one. What it's going to do is value your comic collection. And what's great is they're getting their sales data from 5 major online marketplaces. So you always know exactly what your collection is worth. It's always a pain researching what everything in your collection is worth. And with Covrprice.com, you don't have to. It'll track everything for you. With all the data they capture, they also put out a data-driven top 10 and weekly comic report, filling the interest in comic sales. They have a 10-day free trial, so there's nothing to lose. Give them a try. You guys can check all that info down below in the description. So again, we're taking this top 10 list from a year ago, and we are going to discuss it. All right, we are starting with number 10 on the list. And at this point last year, Year of the Villain, Hell Arisen, number 3. This is the FEDERICI variant. This time last year, Punchline Mania was in full effect. And little did we know back then that the market was about to go absolutely insane. This is the B variant, definitely the second choice compared to the A, which was selling for $40. And now let's flash forward to 2021. Here we are. Values have increased to 65 raw and 319 on a 9.8. Of course, the market is still favoring that Joker A cover, but still, look at this. 2020 raw sales for $40 at this point, and we didn't have any 9.8 sales yet because it was so new. A year later, again, $65 raw sale, and in 9.8 hitting $319 on average. So this one is trending in the up direction, which is crazy because everyone may have thought Punchline was just a flash in the pan, and here we are a year later, and she's still hot. All right, so let's go to number 9. This is Nightwing number 70, and do any of you guys remember this book? I don't blame you if you don't. When early solicitations used the word Punchline, it sent fans in a pre-order tizzy to get the surprise appearance of the new character Punchline. You're going to start seeing a lot of Punchline stuff on this list. Then when it was released, the big old nope, nothing. So still, this landed on the 9 spot last year due to the incorrect rumor. Remember, up until this point, we only had 2 cameo appearances. It was that Hell Arisen 1 and Batman 89. Her first full appearance was still months later in Batman number 92. This bad bit of speculation was moving raw copies at $15 for, oddly enough, raw values have risen to about $20. Makes no sense to me. It is a cool cover, but all right. 9.8s are selling for about $30, making it a terrible book to grade because you guys should know grading costs by now. Just one book costs you about $30. That's without shipping and everything else, so fees and whatnot. Most likely it is the Joker cover that's keeping this one hot, if you call it hot, but it's still retaining the value. Don't get it graded, keep it raw, and move on. So with that, let's move on to number 8 on our list. This one's getting hot right now. X-Men number 4 a year ago is exactly when the Omega Red rumors started for Falcon Winter Soldier. And what a year it had. This book's going crazy still. Now, we all love Omega Red. As far as the X-Men animated series, He was a fun villain to watch. However, this was the 25-cent bin book for decades. It was, guys. It was like a dollar book, right? With a hint of a rumor for him showing up in Falcon Winter Soldier, which, as of this recording, we still have yet to see him. Collectors really started picking this book up and were selling for $10 raw and $209.8. That was back then. Those are your 2020 numbers. Look at those 2021 numbers, guys. Totally different. Raw books in high grade are selling for $50 to $100 plus. 9.8s are selling for $350. This book is all over the place, and the value there is crazy, all based on a rumor. Now, do we think Omega Red is really coming to Falcon Winter Soldier? I don't know. We saw the same thing happen with Mephisto and WandaVision. I don't think so. Maybe I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think Omega Red is going to be the first mutant we see on the big screen or a small screen, but the speculators are out there and they are betting on Omega Red. As the series is moving on, you may start seeing the values that dip a little. Eventually, we have to see this character. He's too great. He's too awesome. Let's go to number 7, which we kind of already talked about this book. This is Batman 89. Again, Punchline was the hottest pre-COVID book, yet sales were just starting to slow down for Batman 89 as the market began leaning more into Hell Arisen 3. It was selling for $35 raw and $130 in a 9.8 this year, while significantly collectors are still investing in Punchline's key issues. This cameo appearance is now selling for $65 raw, $145 in a 9.8. It's interesting how her raw values went up, but the graded copies aren't far from last year's price boost. It is strange, guys. Punchline still has the value there, which is wild. Hard to believe that it's still going. On to number 6, another Batman book. This has been a DC heavy list, has it not? This is Batman Damned number 1. This is the Jim Lee variant. Batman Damned was one of the most consistent selling books for almost 2 years. This time last year, copies of this Jim Lee variant started selling like hotcakes. Thanks to CGC hosting the Jim Lee signing event, giving this a high sale of $70 for a raw copy, yet only $80 for a 9.8. Again, people needed the raw copies for signing, so that's probably what kept that number like that. Today, raw copies average around $45 and 9.8 still sell for $80. Raw, it's a bit of a bust. Graded, there hasn't been much of a change on this one. We've probably seen the last of the Batman Damned stuff, in my opinion. Great story, great art. How much real significant long-term value is there? Probably not much, and this is kind of telling you that as well. Let's go to number 5. Star Wars, Kanan, the Last Padawan, number 1. This time last year was almost the exact moment Kanan number 1 started heating up. So it's been a year, guys. The first issue features a whole mess of first appearances, including Kanan, Jarrus, Ezra Bridger, Chopper, C-110P, Hera Syndulla, and Gara Zeb, Orielos, and Sabine Wren. I hope I got all those right. Early speculation of Sabine, alongside Ahsoka, showing up in The Mandalorian was the main reason this book began trending and selling for $15 for a raw copy. Oh, I wish I could have that right now for $15 in a raw copy. While we didn't see her in The Mandalorian Season 2, her first still had quite a year, just like all Star Wars books this year, guys. If you've been watching anything, these Star Wars books, all these first appearances, all these cameos, everything is climbing. And it now sells for $60 raw and $325 and a 9.8. Talk about a boost from a year ago. If you guys bought 10 of these things at $15 and even half of them came in back in a 9.8, you are looking good right now. You are in fantastic shape. All right, guys, let's roll into number 4. We had a Marvel book with Star Wars. Let's keep it going. Let's stay with the Marvel family here. Spider-Man 2099, number 1. Once considered 90s trash, Spidey 2099 has become a fan favorite alternate Spider-Man over the last few years. With an end credit in Sony's Into the Spider-Verse, sorry for the spoiler alert there, It's clear he's going to be featured in Spider-Verse #2. This is also a big nostalgia book for kid collectors from the 90s. Guys, all those 90s books, remember all the foils, all the holograms, all that stuff? This fits right in there. Last year, collectors were giving this first issue little bumps in price, with raws at $5 and 9.8s at about $61. Now, today, raws only went up a tad to average around $9. Again, like I said, $10 for this book sounds about right in a high grade. However, 9.8s rose significantly to $160 with a recent high of $200. It's also worth noting that a 9.9 sold just a few weeks ago for a massive $3,550. So this turned out to be a decent investment book in a 9.8. You see it there on the screen. You see the bump. You would have made $100 if you bought this last year for $61. If you bought 10 copies, you have an extra $1,000 in your account for comics. On to #3, and we're going back to DC. Year of the Villain, Hell Arisen #3. Last year, the new release market shut down thanks to COVID. With no new releases, Punchline was able to ride her heat wave for a little longer. The market was just starting to favor this as her go-to first appearance, despite being a cameo, and was selling for $35 raw and $140 for a 9.8. Today, raw copies are averaging $150 with 9.8 at $320. So yeah, this is obviously a winner in the battle of the cameos. We always talk about the market dictating the book. Well, the market has spoken on this one. They are screaming from the rooftops. It's all about Year of the Villain, Hell Arisen #3. Look at that, guys. 35 raws last year, 140 9.8s. And now a year later, $150+ on the raw, $320 in 9.8. So this is another boost, another big pickup from a year ago. Moving on to #2. This book, man. Spectacular Spider-Man 176. There are some books you don't want to see on this list, let alone for multiple times, which is exactly what this first appearance of Corona, a virus-based villain, did. The market was speculating on a pandemic tie-in. While we were typically never thrown any shade at the book, we really needed to social distance ourselves from this spec. This time last year, it was selling for $45 for a raw copy. Now averages around $10. Talk about a bust. If anyone invested $45 in this book, shame on you. Everyone should have saw that this was just a flash in the pan, people taking advantage of a horrific situation going on. This was a bust, if there ever was one. The writing was on the wall for this book, so I have no hard feelings if anyone lost money on this silly one. But now, let's go to #1 on our list. Back to Star Wars. KANAN, The Last Padawan, #6. With Sabine Wren's spec last year, there was a heated debate on whether issue #1 or #6 is her first. Many considered #1 to be the cameo and this issue to be her first full appearance. The market was torn and rushed out to pick this issue up. It had a high sale last year of $25 for a raw copy. Well, the market has spoken and clearly put their money behind this issue since it now sells for $200 raw and $650 in a 9.8. Guys, I just said it before, the market dictates which books are which, and they are screaming about this one as well. With all that said, we still have no word on when or if Sabine will appear. Huge boost in this book. Guys, if you were buying them last year at $25, and you were getting 9.8s on them, holy smokes. Huge, huge jump. There's our top 10. By this time last year, 8.5 out of 10 saw significant boosts in value and only one bust. This goes to show you that collectors and investors saw value in these books early on. If you would have invested in each book on this top 10 and its market price 1 year ago, it would have cost you $300, $295 to be precise, and $711 graded for those that were 9.8s if they were available at the time. You'd now sell $674 raw for those and $2,469 in 9.8s. It turns out that these flavors of the week from a year ago happen to be great investments. Guys, do not anticipate that week in and week out. We just got a hot week. Those KANANs, all right? Even the punchlines, they all held value. This is going to be a great experiment to see the market over the next, 2 weeks when we go over the next top 10 from a year ago and here on out. You're going to start seeing trends. And again, you're going to start saying, I remember that. I remember that from a year ago. You're going to start kicking yourself too. Oh, I should have invested in that book. These KANANs are a massive example of that. We've seen a lot over the last year. Some good, some bad. But this was the last top 10 from 1 year ago. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I know I did. I am looking forward to these week in and week out. Please hit that thumbs up on the way out. Down below, let me know in the description, number one, did you invest in any of these books or did you even pick any up for non-investment purposes and then you turned around and ended up selling them because, they're hot? Did you lose out on any of these? Did any of you guys buy that stupid Corona book? Please tell me no. But anyway, I want to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit that thumbs up. I want to hear from you down below. And as always, keep it comics.